everyone! Thanks so much for joining me today as I'll be showing you how to put together our 4x2 C&C cage for rabbits. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to put together this model without a lid, as well as the model with a lid. We recommend that you opt for a lid if your rabbit can jump higher than 70 centimeters, or if you have dogs, cats, or small children in the household. If you purchased a Kavee kit from us, everything I show you here today will be included in your kit. So I'll just pop on the screen now all the materials included. Now, let's get to building. Start by building the bottom perimeter. I have put our connectors in just a small baggie, as this will keep everything in one place, and because connectors are quite small, it prevents them from getting lost or running around under furniture. We will start by building the back of the cage by placing 4 panels across. Get your connector and snap it onto the grid. Now, when you're building your cage, you should hear a bit of a snap, just to know that the grids are secure in place. Perfect. And now we're going to put 2 grids on both sides. Okay, now we'll be putting our front portion of the cage on. For this step, we will keep a space for the door grids to go on. We will put the door grids on near the end of the tutorial, just because it will make it a lot easier to focus on the main grids. So we'll start by putting a grid on this side. We will keep a gap here for the door, and you can fill in the remaining 2 front panels on the other side. Now that we got our base perimeter started, we can start to build up. This time, we'll take our connectors and ensure that the flat surface is facing outwards so that the connector is placed vertically. You can place all these connectors on each of your grids. I'll start that now. Wonderful. So you'll notice that I left this connector to the end, as this is where your door grid is going to go. So the hinges, when we get to it at the end, the hinges will be placed on these connectors and the door will swing as such. So for this connector, you're going to want to ensure that the connector is placed vertical. However, you're going to ensure that the flat surface is facing off to the side. So that way, when your door comes in contact with it, it just glides across the surface. Now, we will put the remaining panels onto the rest of this frame. So now that you have your second layer placed, this is our model without a lid. So up until this point, everything will stay the same for both models. Now at this point, if you're going to go with a model without a lid, you'll just need to place your remaining connectors. The remaining connectors can be placed so that flat surface is facing upwards, so that your connector is horizontal. So you can place them all along on each portion and connect the remaining parts of your grids. So that brings us to our door grids. Now that your main structure is finished, you can now place on your door grids, which will consist of our 2 panels placed here. So we'll just do that now. Okay, so we're back here with our door grids. Just going to connect the panels into these connectors here. You can go one by one, just as if you were placing your other panels. Okay, and that's our two door grids assembled. You'll notice that these two swing freely, and that's because we prefer that you have the two options, so that way if you can kind of do the setup like that, or have a little obstacle for your rabbit to jump through. It just makes it a little easier, but if you do prefer, you can always tie wrap the two, and we will provide cable ties in your kit if you do prefer it to be one solid grid, but we just thought we'd give the option for different combinations and different preferences. So now that you have the door grid assembled, I'll show you how to lock it in and out of place. So very gently, you're just going to place your grids into these connectors on the other side, like that. And there you have it. So now that we've done our model without a lid, I'll just show you now if you have purchased a lid from us as well. And that brings us to our next portion of the tutorial, is if you've opted for a lid. So as stated before, if you do have a rabbit that can jump higher than 70 centimeters, or have other animals or small children in the household, we do recommend that you do opt in for a lid. So for this stage, you'll use the remaining connectors and door grids and your other grids just to finish out the lid. And by doing so, we will start by focusing on the back of the cage. So in the previous tutorial that we've just done without a lid, you'll see that the connectors have the flat surface facing up. So along the back, you'll just want to convert them or change them so that the connectors are facing vertically, and that will be allowing your hinges to operate. So just swap those around, and it'll just be these back 4 panels. Don't worry about the front or the sides. So now that you've flipped around your connectors, you can go ahead and start filling in your lid by placing the door grids across the back. So just go ahead and snap them in now. Great! Now that you have the door grids snapped in place, you can then go ahead and fill out the remaining portion of your lid. So we will just be snapping on your grids to the door panels. And at Kavee, we do advise that one side of your lid is fixed. This way it gives you more stability, especially if you have other pets in the household, such as cats that like to sit on top of furniture, or if you anticipate them sitting on the cage. Obviously, we always recommend that you supervise other animals around the cage, but we do find that this way is just more rigid. But if you do prefer, you still can have a 4 functioning grid. It's just that we prefer a 3 functioning grid with a fixed piece instead. So I'll just show you the way with a fixed piece right now. So for the connectors, you'll want to ensure that they're snapped in horizontally and so that the flat surface is facing downwards. This way, when the connectors come in contact with the other faces of the connectors, it is a flat surface for it to glide across when you close the lid. So we'll do that now. So as mentioned, this side is going to be a fixed portion of the lid, so you can just go ahead and snap in this door grid to your already placed connectors, and you can do that as well with your other grids. And this connector that I've just placed, its flat surface is facing upwards. And for this connector, we're going to ensure that the flat surface is facing downwards. So that way it just comes in contact like that. So as you can see, I've just placed on the grids so that way it fills in the remaining portion of the lid and you can just put on your final connectors. Great. And now that comes to the end of our lid portion, we have now a functioning lid. There you are. The remaining step for this tutorial is just to show you how to assemble the coroplast base, and then you'll have finished the cage. So let's move on to that next and final portion now. Okay, so we come to the end of our tutorial, and the remaining piece to put in is just our base. So at Kavee, you will receive a 4x2 coroplast sheet, and these bases are functional. You don't need any tape, glue whatsoever. They do have some pre-cut slots in place so you're ready to go. So you'll just want to unfold your coroplast. And when you first receive your sheet, they may be a bit rigid, so you can just fold the edges, go around each portion and just fold it in, just to loosen it up a bit. But you can go ahead and start snapping in your base together. So for this, you'll want to ensure that the flap is going from outside to inside to have the most secure position. There we are. And just go around each side. And there you have it. That's your base assembled. You can go ahead and place it into your cage, which I'll do now just to show you what it looks like. And there we have it. That's your whole cage assembled for your rabbit. For our coroplast bases, you will notice that the walls are a lot lower than some cages out there. That's because here at Kavee, we believe animals shouldn't have to stare at walls all day. So this way it allows them to be more aware of their surroundings and easier to bond with them, as it won't be as skittish. And this way it allows your rabbit to gently hop in and out of its cage. So if you do want to leave your cage open for your rabbit, they can just enter very easily for floor time. And we do recommend that you opt for fleece liners for these cages, as fleece liners work best for this sort of cage, but you can use other bedding alternatives if you do prefer, such as wood shavings or any other substrates. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today, and I hope you found it helpful. If you do have any questions about our cages, or if you do have a question about your order, please contact our friendly customer service team, and we have our emails on the bottom of all our websites. Thank you so much, guys, and subscribe to our channel for more content, as well as our other social media channels. Thank you. Bye-bye.